Let me tell you about how America stole half of Mexico and why it matters today. Imagine this. It's the mid-1800s. The US has 27 states and dreams of taking over the entire continent. They call it Manifest Destiny. But there's one problem, Mexico, and it starts with Texas. See, back then, Texas was part of Mexico, populated mostly by indigenous people. Mexico, trying to grow its economy, made a huge mistake. They allowed American immigrants to settle there. But these immigrants weren't your average settlers. They brought something Mexico had outlawed, slaves, and they brought a dangerous mindset, one of conquest and domination. It didn't take long for things to unravel. These immigrant settlers didn't want to live under Mexican law. Tensions exploded into war, including the infamous Battle of the Alamo. You've probably heard of Davy Crockett. Well, he died in that war. This loss enraged Americans, and soon they overpowered Mexico, declaring Texas an independent republic in 1836. Fast forward to 1845. Texas joins the U.S. as the 28th state, but the land dispute isn't over. Meet the new U.S. President, James K. Polk. This man had one ultimate goal: take California from Mexico. He knew the valuable resources California had, and he wanted its riches. So first, he tried to buy it for $25 million, but Mexico said flat out no. So what does Polk do? He plays dirty. Polk sends American soldiers into disputed territory, land that still belonged to Mexico. So of course, Mexico defends itself, winning the war and killing Americans. And that's exactly what Polk wanted. He spins the story to Congress and he says, Mexico invaded our land and spilled blood. But it was a flat out lie. However, it was enough to declare war. This war wasn't just about Texas or California. It was about power and control. Critics like Abraham Lincoln called Polk out, saying he forced a war just to get what he wanted. But it didn't matter. The US won and Mexico lost. So in 1848, the US forced Mexico to give up nearly half its territory: California, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, Utah, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming, for a measly $15 million. They eventually signed the Treaty of Guadalupe. Land that belonged to Mexico was stolen. And this all started because Mexico was too nice, opening its borders to immigrants who betrayed them. Now here's why this matters today. The same country that took Mexican land by force is now trying to erase Mexican, indigenous, and even black communities. History is repeating itself, but this time it's not through war. It's through immigration policy, racism, and neglect. But now we know the truth. We know our history, and knowledge is power. But action is revolution. Learn your history, share these stories, stand up against injustice, because if we don't learn from the past, we're doomed to let it happen again. So the question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit back and let history repeat itself? Or are you going to stand up, fight for justice, and protect our people? I know where I stand. I'm EG, the Activated Mexican. Follow for more untold stories, and stay tuned, because this is just the beginning.